Welcome to episode 7 of 7 Robots.
Fantastically terrible podcast. Did you know that scaring the crap out of your guests was once an integral part of Christmas Eve festivities in Victorian England?
I did not.
Well, what's Christmas without murder, sadistic torture by a horned demon, or being torn apart by a colossal Yule cat?
I have no idea.
Well, today we'll list our top 10 favorite Christmas monsters and discuss a few classic Victorian ghost stories.
Ooh.
If this all sounds new to you, stay tuned. It's about to get even more bizarre.
The Victorian fascination with death is well documented. I never thought I'd say that sentence,
Yeah,
but I did.
strange.
Imagine getting a card with a dead bird that reads, "A loving Christmas greeting." Or perhaps you prefer a card depicting one frog stabbed to death and bleeding while the killer frog runs away.
That's awesome.
And the message reads, "And a Merry Christmas to you." I even found a card from 1900 with a gnome or Santa-like man stuffing a screaming little boy into a sack that read, get this, "A Happy Christmas." It's truly shocking to see how into horror the Victorians were at Christmas. By the way, links to everything, including all of these postcards, are on our website. In episode 6, we looked at the origins of Christmas traditions. Many are tied to the winter solstice, when the darkness and death of winter are finally replaced by the return of spring and life. And there's a lot of magic mushrooms thrown in there.
Mushrooms.
Too. The festivities of the winter solstice and our modern day celebrations all over the world share common elements that include lighting candles and keeping hope alive through the darkness until life is renewed. However, it seems the Victorians got a little too stuck in the dark side of the season and its associations with death.
Gathering around a fire to share ghost stories was a much-loved Christmas tradition in the late 1800s and early 1900s. And why not? Cold and long winter nights are perfect for sharing horror stories with family and friends, especially after a good dinner and some strong rum punch.
You know it.
Even Santa was more sinister. The jolly old fat man had henchmen to do his dirty work. A popular example is his tag team matchup with Krampus.
Boom, boom.
Santa would spy on kids to see who was naughty or nice. He'd report the naughty ones to Krampus, who would then put coal in their stockings, kidnap them, beat them, or sometimes kill them.
Nice.
Yeah, nice guy. So, it's no surprise that the Victorians saw Santa as a snitch.
He was definitely not the lovable character we have in North America.
He was a stool pigeon.
Stooley, a rat.
The most famous example of a Christmas ghost story is Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, which happens to be my favorite. But anyway, it's from 1843.
It's true, we watch it every year.
Every year. Alistair Sim. If you recall, 4 ghosts or supernatural spirits visit Ebenezer Scrooge, our favorite holiday curmudgeon, and scare the greed out of his wallet and replace it with a kind and generous spirit.
Smack that greed off his face.
Yes.
2 other famous ghost stories that are set in December are The Turn of the Screw by Henry James in 1898 and The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe in 1845, and those are both American authors. This ghost story tradition continued into the early 20th century, with magazines regularly publishing ghost stories in their Christmas issues. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's cool. It's like an
It's a
extension
good
of Halloween.
tradition to come, exactly. We should bring this back.
Yes.
I have links to all of these if you would like to read them on our website. Between the Lights by E.F. Benson from 1912, The Kit Bag by Algernon Blackwood, 1908, A Strange Christmas Game by J.H. Riddle, a.k.a. Charlotte Riddle, in 1863, and Smee by A.M. Barrage in 1931. As time passed, Halloween became popular in the U.S., with influences from the traditions of Irish and Scottish immigrants. In time, October 31st was designated as Fright Night, while Christmas was stripped of all scariness and left good. The dark and the light were irrevocably split.
Wow. I kind of like the bad. all the
Yeah,
way
it
through.
is interesting because they kind of remove the winter part of Christmas.
Yeah.
Because Christmas does fall in the winter solstice, in the winter season, where you have the shortness of days, you have death, and then you have spring coming. So that's why they have this duality.
Yeah.
Of course, the Victorians, as we mentioned, seem to dwell a little too much on the dark side of things.
Speaking of the dark side, let's talk about monsters.
Woohoo! Monsters.
Number one on our list is the comeback king, Krampus.
Krampus.
His name comes from the German word Krampen, meaning claw. Krampus is celebrated on Krampusnacht.
I think it's Krampusnacht.
I'm butchering it. I'm sorry, any of my German friends out there.
Everything we say here will be incorrect.
Yes,
All right.
definitely. Unless it's Spanish, Portuguese, or I won't say French. Anyway, Krampusnacht is on December 5th.
Krampusnacht.
It's on December 5th, or the night before St. Nicholas's Day. He's usually portrayed as a horned half demon, half goat. I guess you could say he's the yin to St. Nicholas's yang, like a WWE tag team that body slams the naughty and rewards the good.
That I would like to see.
That is an awesome cage match. Anyway,
The ref could be The Rock.
yes, the legend is still popular in many countries, including Austria, Bavaria, Croatia, Czech Republic, Hungary, Northern Italy, Slovakia, and Slovenia. He seems to be gaining steam in the US as well, as we can see in so many Christmas movies starring our horned monster villain.
At number 2, we have Mary Lude, the Christmas zombie horse.
I didn't expect Lude to be that. But anyway.
I didn't expect a zombie horse. And this comes from Wales, where they have a skeleton zombie mare. The zombie horse visits people's homes during the Christmas season. To keep the undead horse away, you must engage in a rhyming rap battle of wits, usually on New Year's Eve. How cool is that?
That's like crazy.
That is crazy. I love this one. Groups of about 6 people dress up like the undead mare, and they usually hold a horse skull on a pole, and then they drape a white cloth to cover the person underneath. The group goes from village to village, singing and challenging households to a battle of rhyming verses and insults in Welsh. The homeowners then respond with their own rhymes in a pretend battle to outwit the creature and prevent her from entering the house. Once the battle of rhymes is over, they let the creature inside. So it sort of defeats the purpose, I think. I know,
they
go
could
through
make
the
a
whole
movie
thing.
with Eminem and call it 8 Mile, like the Mary Lou version. Anyway,
So once the battle of rhymes is over, they let the creature inside, and she brings the household good luck for the year.
that's pretty
There
interesting.
it is, and I
That's
found some
very interesting.
videos, which the links are on our website.
Coming in at number 3, La Befana and Babushka. What's Christmas without witches?
I have no idea.
Well,
I always think of witches
Well,
when I think
just
of Christmas.
hold on. Ugly old women that fly around on broomsticks is exactly what comes to mind, isn't it? We've got 2 Christmas witches for you. Italy's very own La Befana and Russia's Babushka. These witches are happy to lay down the law, punish lazy and ungrateful kids while rewarding the hardworking ones.
That sounds like every Italian mom I know.
Yes, it does, doesn't it? Now, both stories are tied to the Epiphany on January 6th, which celebrates the 3 wise men or the 3 kings meeting the baby Jesus and offering him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. The legends are slightly different, but in both, the 3 kings ask the old women to come with them to see the new king in Bethlehem. In both stories, the women decide to finish their housework and meet with the Magi later, but it was too late. Each woman searches everywhere, but they were never able to find them.
Ah, so they never hooked up with them again.
Never did. Missed the opportunity. So on the Epiphany Eve, each woman searches every house for the child and leaves goodies and gifts for the good children. But if you're bad, watch out. You'll be getting a stocking full of coal. Toma.
At number 4, we have Persta. Besides witches, what else makes you think of Christmas?
I don't know, candy canes, gingerbread cookies.
No.
No.
How about shapeshifters?
What?
Persta is a shapeshifter from the German and Austrian region of the Alps. She can appear as a beautiful white-robed woman.
Mm-hmm.
She was once considered the goddess of winter and is associated with the cycle of life, from fertility all the way to death. So that connection again between winter and spring.
Interesting.
She's also depicted as a nasty old witch who roams the world rewarding those who are hardworking and generous with wealth and health in the new year. But if you're idle and greedy, her favorite form of torture, this is really gross, is slashing open your stomach and ripping out your intestines and then replacing them with straw, rocks, and garbage.
But hold on.
You're like a horrendous stuffed turkey.
So what if you survive for the rest of the year and you can't do anything, you can't work hard because she's just sliced open your stomach?
You're dead.
Oh, okay.
That's the point. Ain't no second chances with Persta.
Wow.
So where Babushka and La Befana reminded me of, Russian and Italian moms, this is very German, right? If you don't work hard and...
rip your guts out.
Yeah, they'll rip your guts out.
Wow, tough stuff. Coming in at number 5, in some places like Switzerland, Persta hangs out with demon helpers known as Stragel. People leave goodies, hoping to escape punishment, and receive favor in the form of wealth and good health from Frau Persta. Sometimes Persta leaves the punishment of children to these awful demons. For kids that are kind of bad, they enjoy robbing them. Sort of like a stick-up, a little mugging.
I've never heard of demons robbing people.
I'm just going to mug you.
Yeah. What's
Right.
in your wallet?
For kids that are really bad, they fly away with them and rip them to shreds in midair.
Right, so I don't mind them robbing me so much.
Yeah.
Take my money.
Here, take my wallet.
Take my wallet.
What's in your wallet?
At number 6, we have Belschnickel. In German and Pennsylvania Dutch communities, the Belschnickel appears 2 weeks before Christmas. One source I read says that the Belschnickel is the first Christmas character who clearly distinguishes good from bad children.
Interesting.
I guess later it went to Santa Claus. He's shown as a thin, lanky person dressed in fur clothes, a mask, and bells on his costume. In one hand, he carries a bag with gifts and treats for the good children, and in the other, he holds a switch or whip to punish the bad children.
Kind of sounds like a court jester.
Do they beat children?
Well, no, I mean, like, they can be funny, or they can be, like, terribly not funny.
I don't know what your definition of a court jester is.
No, but, I mean...
He's a giant guy that beats you if you're bad. And he has a German accent, apparently.
Right. Coming in at number 7, Père Fouettard. I often find myself asking the holiday question, what's Christmas without a French cannibal?
Interesting. I've never asked myself that question.
I do often. As a matter of fact, across Europe, St. Nicholas makes his rounds accompanied by an evil henchman like Krampus. You've heard of Father Christmas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Père Fouettard is Father Whipper.
Nice. Father Whipper. That's the translation of Foutard.
Right. The story of Père Fouettard dates back to around 1150.
Wow, that's old.
That's some old stuff.
Yeah.
It's about an evil butcher who kidnapped 3 lost children, murdered them by slitting their throats, carved them up, and put them into a salting tub.
That's horrific.
That is pretty messed up.
Damn.
Now, when St. Nicholas came to his door, the butcher tried to feed him the poor kids. Instead, St. Nicholas resurrected the boys from the dead and sent them back home to their parents. Seeing an opportunity for the butcher to repent his sins, the butcher became Père Fouettard, a sort of eternal servant who basically is the bad cop to St. Nicholas's good cop.
So, yeah, I can see why it's like Krampus.
It's pretty rough.
So you kill children, I'll get you to repent by punishing children.
Yeah. I wonder if this story kind of
It
ties.
sounds like a win-win for Futald over there.
And it sounds a little bit like the story of when Zeus was fed, like, people.
Yes.
And then he turned the guy into werewolves.
And that's where werewolves came from.
Well, that's a whole other different show.
Next up at number 8 is the Yule Lads. In Iceland, they don't have just one Santa Claus. They have 13 Yule Lads. On the 13 days leading up to Christmas, a Yule Lad will visit your home, and each one has a specific characteristic. They're more mischievous pranksters than monsters, but I
Right.
wanted to include them on this list because they are so popular.
Right.
And I got these descriptions from Atlas Obscura, which of course is linked in the show notes to our website.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go through the 13 and what their odd quirks are.
Yes, we got Sheepcoat Clog, a peg-legged sheep fancier, if you know what I mean. We'll just leave it there.
I don't think I want to know what you mean.
No.
He's a sheep fancier.
Yeah, he fancies sheep. Anyway, Gullyhawk, who hides out in ditches or gullies and waits for just the right moment to run into the cowshed and lick the foam off the milk in the milking buckets. I guess whatever floats your boat.
That sounds like something our dog would do.
Yes, definitely. Stubby is just short. And he's got nothing else to it. It's actually sad that being short gets you on this list.
No, that's terrible, actually.
Spoon Licker, who likes to steal spoons.
And lick 'em.
And lick 'em. Pot Scraper, who eats up all of your leftovers.
Damn pot scraper.
Anyway, Bowl Licker, who hides under your bed and waits for you to put down your bowl so he can steal it and, yes, lick it. Door Slammer, who slams doors all night. Perhaps he's the most annoying.
Yeah, I think so.
Skyr Gobbler, who eats skyr, yogurt, which is super popular in Iceland. Sausage Swiper, who steals apples. Nah, just kidding. He actually steals sausages.
Yep.
Now, Doorway Sniffer, who uses his enormous nose to sniff for baked goods and find bread. Window Peeper, who watches you from the windows.
That's not good.
He's a peeping Tom.
He is.
I don't think that's actually a Yule Lad. That's just a guy.
That's your neighbor.
It's your neighbor.
That's Dave peeping on your window.
Oh, no. Doorway Sniffer, who uses his enormous nose to sniff for baked goods and find bread. Meat Hook, who always brings a hook along with him so he can steal meat. And last but not least, Candle Stealer, who follows children around so he can steal their candles and leave them in the dark.
Aww.
Yeah, it's pretty mean. The 13 Yule Lads.
At number 9 on our list is Grilla. All 13 Yule Lads answered to one big, mean mama called Grilla. She predates the Yule Lads in Icelandic legend as the ogress, who has an insatiable appetite for children. Each Christmas, Grilla comes down from her mountain dwelling to hunt for naughty children. She places them in a sack and drags them back to her cave, where she boils them alive for her favorite stew.
That's crazy. That's like the Grinch instead of the Grinch stealing the presents.
Imagine
he's stealing
if
the kids.
stole who's and ate them. Wow.
That'd be pretty gruesome.
I think we have to write that. It will be who soup or who stew.
Who hash.
Who hash, for real. What's in the who hash? Hooah.
Hooah.
In the 17th century, she became associated with Christmas, and then they recast her as the mother of the Yule Lads. So they meshed the two together.
Interesting.
Number 10 on our list is also
The fantastically terrible character or creature.
So what are we going to look at today?
Well, today we're going to look at the Jellicotorn, or the Yule Cat of Iceland. This ginormous killer grimalkin hangs out in the home of our favorite Icelandic ogress, Grilla. Unlike the other Christmas monsters we mentioned, the Yule Cat just doesn't give a damn about your moral code. It hunts for children and adults alike, naughty or nice. It's kind of refreshing, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
This colossal predator sees everyone exactly the same. A tasty meal.
So what can you do to prevent being torn apart and eaten by this feline fiend?
Perhaps a feat of strength or a game of wits? No. Just make sure you get a new piece of clothing for Christmas. Who knew that ugly Christmas sweater you get every year would finally come in handy?
Very nice.
Yeah.
The good old Yule cat.
Good old Yule cat. That's it for today. 7 Robots, Fantastically Terrible. Podcast is by Miguel Guerra and Susie Diaz. Our theme song is by Susie. And remember, the best way to support our podcast is to leave a review on iTunes. This helps others to find us, and we can see your name and personally thank you live on the show.
For more information on the episode, including links to everything we've referenced, please visit our website at www.7robots.com/podcast. We want to wish everyone a very happy and safe holiday. Try not to get stabbed by killer frogs,
Disemboweled by Yule cats.
or eaten by Icelandic ogresses.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.